Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And wow, we got an absolutely magnificent show coming your way. Uh, what we might have to change up a little bit because our guest that we had scheduled uh, did such a magnificent show about 2 weeks ago. We invited him back, and but he was not able for some reason to show up today. And so I tell you what, I am the show. I am. Want to talk about the military. Want to talk about my experiences with the military. Want to talk about a lot of these things. And I tell you what, before we start talking about these things, how you doing, Dr. Cooley? I tell you, hold that thought because we have to get all the platforms locked in. How you doing, Todd?
I'm doing good, James. I'm excited for today's show.
Yeah, let's
Here we
do
go,
it.
locking it in.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And I tell you what, I hope everybody's having an absolutely wonderful time. Um, Thanksgiving week. I say a couple of days before Thanksgiving. And we're in Texas, my beautiful bride and I, and we're enjoying this and we're having a wonderful time. And hope everybody else is doing the same and preparing for this absolutely fantastic. I know it's going to be a great Thanksgiving feast. It's going to be a great Thanksgiving, being able to hang out with family members and one that you love and just express the word or joy. So, how you doing back in California, Todd?
I'm always good, James. I'm already craving that turkey, so a little busy here, a short week at work, but I'm ready, man. I can't wait for that turkey and all that stuff and all that good stuff. So I'm excited.
I'm excited, and I know Dr. Michelle right here. Look at her. She's sitting back thinking about turkey and thinking about ham, which she ain't not going to eat any. But she thinking about green bean casserole, dressing, macaroni and cheese. Oh, I'm hungry already. I tell you what, our viewers and our listeners out there, if you're hungry, call in and tell us what is going to be your Thanksgiving dinner. What do you expect to have for Thanksgiving? Also, we want to know. What do Thanksgiving mean to you? So I tell you what, I can't even start the show without this absolutely wonderful woman, Dr. Michelle Cooley. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm actually not thinking about ham or turkey. I'm thinking about dressing, mac and cheese, some rolls, and really that's it. I'm not a heavy meat eater. I'm really not. So, the ham and turkey I can do without. I'm just interested mostly in the sides.
So I'm not really craving a whole big meal for Thanksgiving, but I do know that it's the gift of giving, and it's the gift of being thankful for all, primarily what the good Lord has done for you, and also being able to spend time with family. And so that's so important uh, at the time. So
I know you have a lot to be thankful, especially in your career. And this month, November, was veteran November. We celebrated Veterans Day, but we're celebrating Veterans Month. And as everyone knows, I'm gonna remind everyone, Dr. James J.C. Cooley is a military veteran in the United States Navy. And so I'm going to interview him and ask him a couple of questions, how he is thankful about the lessons and the experience that he has learned, or he did learn, being in the military. So I would call this show Thankful to Those Who Served, and having a conversation with one of our amazing military veterans, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. So, so again, whatever platform you're on, YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Facebook, E360 TV. Please type in your comments, questions for the show, or you can call into the station and Todd will patch you in. The number is 1-888-344-1170. It's 1-888-344-1170. So, James, let's talk about the military. So I know you've shared this story before, but what inspired you to join the military and why did you choose the Navy?
Wow. I mean, that's a very important question. But initially, I did not choose the Navy. I had recent enlisted in the Marines, and the Marine Corps was what I was planning on. So I was in what we call the delayed entry program. So you can enter or enlist early, like 8 months, 8 to 10 months out, and that's not your final uh, enlistment because you will have to uh, re-enlist. I'm not re-enlist, but swear in the day that you're going to do this. And so the Navy was not my first choice, is what I'm trying to say. But what happened was when I came, it was September the 10th, to be honest with you, when I went back to the station to uh, enlist, swear in, the Marines folks that I had been dealing with was not around. So the Navy guy was around and he came, he started talking to me, and all the paperwork had already been done with the Marines. He said, we can get you in the Navy and get you on a jet heading to Orlando, Florida. And I think we can do that within the next 6 hours. So I flew in with the Navy, and that's how that journey started. And I tell you what, Michelle,
Hmm?
it's been an absolutely magnificent journey, um, being a part of the greatest service. And I don't mean to take anything away from the Army and the Air Force or any of that other stuff, but go Navy.
Wow, go Navy. Maybe shirts and everything like that. But you know what? Sometimes when people make a choice to be a part of something, they envision what it could or maybe what could not be like. Tell us, tell the audience when you got sworn in and you had to go to boot camp, was when you first got into the military, was it what you thought it would be? Was it harder or it was just totally different?
First of all, you have to know the story behind leaving. I had never left Chattanooga other than Graham, Alabama, when I lived with my aunt and uncle and my grandmother. And and that was only hour and 30 minutes away. And on the farmland where you had to do everything yourself. I mean, actually, when I mean everything yourself, we did not have any running water in the house. We did not have any electricity, none of that stuff. We did not have any heat other than what we made. We had a wood burning stove. That wood burning stove was everything that we needed because it kept the house warm. We cooked on it. We had candles and kerosene. It kind of like Little House on the Prairie. So my point is this: when I got back to Alabama, I'm back to Tennessee. Long story. Entering, then I said, I got to get away from here some type of way. I don't see any way out. And my partner Billy Harper and I decided we were going to enter the Navy or the Marines on the buddy buddy program. We did not know what to expect. I mean, just like most people that enter the service do not know what to expect. Uh, so I entered the first day. I'm talking about sworn in. I'm initially part of the Marines, swore into the Navy, got on the plane, Stopped in Atlanta, Georgia, still trying to figure out. I mean, it's all green, 18 years old, trying to figure out what this world is about. Because the only world that I knew was Chattanooga. When I get to Orlando, Florida, until that night, we kind of got there like midnight, and they kind of gave us some clothes. No, actually, the stuff that we had, they gave us, we took everything that we had, went in, they put us down to sleep for about 2 hours. And I'm thinking, wow, this might be pretty good. Until the drill instructor came in and at about 2:30 and cut the light on, scream and throwing garbage cans down. And like, oh, everybody's scared. I said, oh, I don't know what I think I was better off back in Chattanooga. I think I might have been better off back there because if it's going to be like,
what did I get myself into?
Yeah, it's like if it's going to be like this, I'm in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what you expect an experience to be in your mind, it is never what the actual reality of it. And sometimes, you might want to quit or leave and say, okay, I made the wrong decision, but it could still be the right decision. You just have to go through it.
I never said that I wanted to quit because I hadn't even started. So it wasn't, do you want to quit? It's like, okay, I don't really don't know, because that was something different to me. I tell you what, we got to take a station break. We're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back and I'm going to let this absolutely gorgeous interviewer interview me. And we're going to talk about the Navy. We're going to talk about a lot of things. And hopefully we get Toddy involved in this one because, his father is a vet. And he just celebrated, I think, his 84th birthday a couple of days ago. I'm not sure. I think I'm close there. But we might get Toddy involved. And there's maybe he might be able to share some stories from his dad. But I tell you what, you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching this on. That's either E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, 84 other live, 68 other live platforms, Washington Show, or you can pick up the phone and call Todd at 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity. Coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
realization that life would never be the same, Cooley lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And I tell you what, just sitting here, I'm telling you, just reminiscing. She done took me all the way back to September the 10th, 1978. When I entered the Navy. I would never, ever forget that. But I tell you that probably in my mind, and I'm talking everything, probably one of the most or the best decisions I ever made, because it gave me an opportunity to see that the world was more than just Chattanooga, Tennessee. And that prompted me to a whole lot of things after going through the first few years in the Navy, where I was still trying to figure out whether I need to go home or not, but I hung in there and learned. And I tell you what, Todd, without the Navy, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Well, definitely.
You became such a great leader and a mentor to so many, and the Navy was kind of what started that foundation for you.
The Navy started a foundation, and it only requires many that have never ever left home just to see past the tip of your nose the dreams that we might have throughout our early, I'm talking about 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11 years old, or what we think that we can do. And I'm a testament of that. And I'm going to turn this back over to Dr. Cooley. I know she's getting ready to drill me some more.
No. Well, you know what? When you first joined the Navy in the beginning, did you have any aspirations of becoming an officer, at least in the beginning? If not, who or what inspired you to go to want to become an officer?
Becoming an officer, when I first went in, I just wanted to make it through the enlistment. I mean, I wanted to not get kicked out because the things that were taught of us growing up and that environment that we were in, that's all we knew. And the surroundings that I grew up in was not very, very good. I mean, if I had to put it, it's very, very bad. The projects, the gunfight, the gangs, all of those type of things, not having enough to eat, clothing, all that other type of stuff. My mom had 10 kids that she had to take care of, and with just her and that love, I think that the amount of attention that I believe that a young man or a young woman might have needed was not there. It wasn't that she did not do the best that she could, because she tried. But for as what you asked me about being an officer, it took a while for me to even think about something like that, because once I got in the Navy, once I figured out how it worked and how to stay out of trouble, work on your career, do what's told of you, understand what's right and what's wrong, then I kind of got, I would say, an understanding that I can make it in this service. I could be somebody in here, because I looked at all of everybody else that was around me I thought was better or whatever at one stage. I found out that they was no better than me. We was all the same. But there were certain things that we had to do to be successful. And it took each and every individual who wanted to be successful to figure that out and to work toward that goal.
Did being in the Navy, even before you became an officer, did it boost your self-confidence and self-esteem? Um, Especially, when you're, let's say you're leading people, you're you rose up in ranks. Can you kind of talk about how did it change you as far as you believing in yourself? And let me just say one thing. You could have believed in yourself before you went into the military, but sometimes when we get into a certain environment, a certain place, we realize that we are more than what we thought we were before we involved ourselves into this place, if that makes sense.
Well, that goes back to my grandmother. My grandmother was the biggest influence in my world, because of at 6, 7 years old in Graham, Alabama. My grandmother at that time, I think, was 80 something, 80. And it was just pretty much me and her, because my aunt Jen and my uncle Robert, they manned the fields, had to do stuff to get us food and all this other type of stuff. My grandmother always told me, she would always tell me, boy, you're special. You're going to be something one day. Don't let nobody tell you that you're nothing. You are going to show the world. You're going to be somebody one day. So she always used to tell me that. And I had the time, they smiling around. This your grandmama. Yeah, I mean, she likes somebody like you. My grandma loved me. And she always encouraged. She said, I can see it in you, boy. Just do the right thing. You're going to be some. So you asked me the question about the Navy. And you asked, when was that turning point? I think that's what you were trying to say.
Well, I asked, did you have the self-confidence and was your self-esteem high before you went into the military, despite what your grandmother told you as a little boy? Or do you believe it was built up when you were in the military?
I think I had a level of confidence in myself, not knowing that, because all the way from high school or whenever, I was kind of like a leader in some way or another, but not knowing what that means. That means that you're just popular. I mean, whatever that is. Because you're popular doesn't necessarily mean you're the leader. When I got in the Navy, and I figured out, once I did my first achievement, made it through and got my first rank, we called it a curl. I became a petty officer, 3rd class. It was like, wow, I can do this. That's when it kind of hit me that you can do a lot of things in this Navy if you just open up your mind, you continue to grow, and just the people around you. You can't trust everybody, and you can't do every day. Everybody want to go out and drink and party and all this other type of stuff. You can't do all. My mind was telling me I got to do something different. That's when I knew that I could do something, especially when I started going to school. And when I entered college, being Larry Threadgill, start going to school and start attaining credits, and just continue to grow, and was around great leaders where I was able to pull some from great leaders and also some bad leaders. that I was able to pull some things that I don't ever want to be a leader like that. Now you develop your own confidence level, your own ability, and it was all about honesty, integrity, and ethics. Because if I was going to be a leader or a mentor, I had to walk the walk. I couldn't just talk the talk. And once I developed that, and I saw that others looked up to me, and I looked up to a lot of others, I knew that I had a chance to really excel in this great Navy.
You know what, James? We only have about a little less than 2 minutes before the break, but can you share a story? So it's really important. You're talking about leadership, and you have to walk the walk and talk the talk. Were there times, or can you give an example of a story, and probably has to wait until after break, but an example of a story where you believe in honesty, integrity, and ethics, but you also had to make sure what you were communicating the men, women underneath you to do, but you weren't doing yourself, and that was a life, and that was a life lesson. You know what I'm talking about, but that's a life lesson in general. It doesn't have to be military. And can you share that with us after the break?
I will share it after the break, but you put me on the spot.
Okay.
But anyway, I tell you what. Hope you're enjoying this coming from the heart. And did not know Michelle and I was going to be talking about myself today, because the guest that we had initially, I don't know what happened to him, but that's okay. It's my show, and Michelle is a host. And if you want to be part of this great conversation, I see a lot of people are watching. I see a lot of people giving thumbs up. But if you want to be part of this conversation, the easiest way of doing it, and I want to hear your story, pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice?
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
James Cooley on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Let's go. It's the James Cooley Show.
Welcome back to It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Woo-hoo. We are here and I'm interviewing Dr. James J.C. Cooley about his life lessons in the United States military, United States Navy, go Navy, and audience. We want you to participate in this show. So whatever live stream platform that you are viewing the show, please type in your questions or comments, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of that. And if you want to call on the show to ask Dr. Cooley a question, just dial the number of 1-888-344-1170. That's 1-888-344-1170. You know what? Hey, Todd, is there a question you want to swing by Dr. James Cooley about his experience in the military before I pick it up?
I'm just curious how you talked about before when he first started and he said, oh, well, we're having second thoughts about this. And he told me a story about him getting seasick. I was just wondering if he could talk about the first time that he went out to the sea.
I the first time that, and keep in mind, this is the first time that I had ever been on a boat, any type of boat. And ended up going on what we call a destroyer, which is kind of big boat, small for the Navy, but big. And I had never, ever experienced anything like this. I think I was in the Navy maybe 2.5 months before I went on the boat. And I went on the boat and we went out to sea. They pulled out in the water and I'm dizzy. Next thing you know, I'm throwing up. The bottom line, Todd, the first 7 days I was on the ship, I was in the bed. I did not want to eat nothing. My mind was not even focused to do anything. It took a while for your system, I say, to acclimate to something that is just something completely different than what you ever experienced in your world. And that was something completely different than I had ever experienced.
But then you said you've never been seasick after that.
I have never been seasick again. I mean, and
I go take 7 days, and then once you get through that, you're good.
I go fishing all the time on big boats, all this other stuff. Now, Michelle go fishing with me every now and then, and she had to, after about 10 minutes, she had to go lay down in the bunk area.
You know what? That was Alaska, and that boat took like 3 hours high speed to get into the place. I was so sick. Even though I took that Dramamine, I was sick. And then we went again, and I took it okay. But hey, fishing's not for me. But you know what? What's for me is celebrating Dr. James J.C. Cooley and his experience in serving our country in the United States military in the United States Navy.
But hold on. Hey, Todd, do you ever go fishing?
Well, I've tried fishing a few times. I actually did go on one of those deep sea fishing, but like Michelle, I got a little sick and I didn't see any fish. I just saw the inside of the cabin.
Oh, I was in the bunks, Todd. I'm just like, I'm out of here. But, again, audience, hey, any questions for Dr. Cooley regarding his experience in the military or anything else, please contact the show, 1-888-344-1170. Todd will patch you in. So, James, before the break, we discussed, I asked about, leadership. You have to walk the walk, talk the talk. There's a story that you want to share, and it's a life lesson. It's not really just military based, but it's a life lesson about, giving somebody advice about, and it's coming from a good place about what you can recommend how they can, improve themselves. So when you're in the military, can you kind of just set it up for us and just tell us all about it?
Okay, because you were messing it up.
I
was. So I always, even from early on, always taught the folks that followed me mentorship, leadership. If you're going to lead, you got to lead by example. Lead by example. Whatever you do, you can lead by example, because you never know. You never know who's watching you. I'm talking about a future, one of your future sailors that's going to grow up to be captain and admirals. And I have had a few of those that I led that grew up to be that. But this one particular time in the Great Lakes, you know, I was an instructor. I was teaching career counseling, advancements, how you go about doing this. And I taught I was teaching, I think I had about 300 students. And I was telling these students, and they were probably E5s and below or whatever. And I always instill, I said, well, education, you got to make sure that education is a part of whatever you do in your career. I mean, right now, you guys got young careers. You got to lock on the education. You have to go out and get your degree. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to focus on that. What happened is we had a kid back in the back. He raised his hand, got up, and said, Petty Cooley, I like what you're saying about education. So what did you graduate? What school you graduated from? Wow, kind of took me back. Now I'm almost sweating BBs because I hadn't graduated from college at that time. I had worked I think I needed 2 classes to graduate with my bachelor's. Right? He asked me a question, and I'm like, okay, how do I get around this? There's no way to get around it but to tell the truth. I said, I have not graduated yet. I got 3 classes to go before I graduate with my bachelor's. The air in the room just went out. This guy is up here telling me about school, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. And he hadn't even done it. I mean, I hadn't done it yet. And I felt like a fool when I finished that, because I almost couldn't look at them kids anymore after that person had asked that question. And from that point on, I knew that I would never tell anybody to do anything ever again without me having already experienced myself. In the next 2 months, I went and I finished my degree. And I was back in front of the classes, and I was confident that if you can't tell somebody from a leadership perspective how to do something if you ain't never done it. Did I answer the question, Michelle?
Oh, yes. And I think we're getting ready to go to break in order to pay the bills. What do you think, James?
What, you want to take us a break? Go ahead and take us a break.
Hey, audience. We'll be right back. It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley with the guests, Dr. James J.C. Cooley himself. I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley, executive producer and co-host. We will be right back with you.
J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023. Unified Brain Z and the other organizations, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
Humor, wit, and engaging storytelling, James paints a picture about his arrival in a rural Deep South town and realization that life would never be the same. Fully lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Yeah. Doctor James.
Hello. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And I tell you what, just sitting back really enjoying this conversation that I'm having with Michelle and Todd as relate to my Navy, me entering the Navy, my Navy career. And I tell you, I spent 23 years in the Navy. And it was absolutely fantastic. It's an experience that I would never, if I had to do it all over again, I would. It was some good times, bad times, ups and downs, but most importantly, it taught me how to be a man, a leader, a father, a husband, a friend, a mentor, and Character is what's count in everything that we do. And the Navy was the initial starting point for me that developed me into the person that I am today. And I would encourage the young men and young women out there, kind of like where I was in the beginning, not knowing what you going to do or what you want to do, to consider the military, maybe not necessarily the Navy. All of them are great as a starting point, where that is going to give you initial foundation to understand that the world is not just the little area that you're living in, or if you're fortunate enough and you're traveling all around the world, you still have to identify oneself on what is your purpose in life. And I believe that the Navy gave me that opportunity. What are your thoughts, Michelle?
Well, I have a couple of questions regarding your statement just now. You said the Navy taught you how to be a man, how to lead. So what lessons do you take that you learned from the Navy that you apply today in your everyday life?
Respect is one of the things. You have to respect others, because in the Navy, in order for you to lead, in order for your sailors or your soldiers to believe in you, they have to respect you and you have to respect them. They're putting their lives on the line to protect our great country, our allies, their family, your families, and all of these things. And many that never served or don't know anything about service really do not understand the term respect, because you have to you have to believe and respect the person on the side of you that's blocking and taking care of you, shooting at enemies this way, this one here. They have to be able to protect you. So respect, teamwork, communications. It's kind of very difficult to be a leader if you cannot completely articulate yourself or communicate with others. I mean, if you can't communicate, I'm not saying that, one communication style will blanket and cover everything. It all depends on who you're communicating with. And most importantly, honesty, integrity, and ethics. That's what I live by. Um, I don't think I lived by that prior to me entering the service completely, because I did not know what it meant. But just being around great folks and people that trust and believe in you, and they trust and believe in you, they pull you, they promote you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of assignments that I had, from the Pentagon to the White House to, people had to trust you in order to select you to go in and serve duty in the White House or the Pentagon, or give you command where you're leading folks. So all of these things are so important. And that's what leadership is all about. That's what being a veteran. Once you gather all of these things, when you exit the military, you take these things with you. I'm talking about those things that build what we call core values that we live by.
And James, before we got about 5 minutes to the end of the show, how challenging was it for you to transition from military to civilian life? Or was it hard at all?
It was not that difficult for me because I was in the Pentagon and I transitioned from the Pentagon back into the Pentagon. So I was still around everybody. I'm in the military. So it wasn't that difficult for me. The great thing about that, you transition and then you kind of still doing the same job but making 3 times the pay. I can deal with that transition anytime, but it all depends on your mindset, to answer your question. And my mindset was already there, and I knew what the mission was. I knew what our government was. I knew a lot of things that we were trying to achieve, and to actually go and work back with the folks that you left the military service with, but now you're a civilian, you're still working, you're still doing the same thing. So to me, it wasn't that difficult.
Why do you think it's so difficult for some military veterans to transition from military life to civilian life, in your opinion?
Because many veterans, especially if you're high rank, and you transition from, say, a Navy captain or 06 or something like that, and you're transitioning over to a job that normally you have thousands and thousands of people working. You got secretaries, you got this, you got that, and all that. You transition to a job where you ask, "Where's my secretary?" And your boss look at you and say, "You're your secretary too." It's being able to let it go. Let I mean, the status go, because you're not a Navy captain anymore, or you're not a colonel, or you're not that anymore. But I mean, unless you transition into one of those jobs, you would know what that is. But being able to change your mindset, say, okay, I'm adjust to the civilian world, or whatever environment you chose to be in, that is very difficult for many people coming out to service, especially high rank, to make that adjustment. But we all do, so.
Wow. This has been a very informative and educational conversation. I mean, we can talk for hours about your military career. What takeaways, and you got a minute, that you want to leave with the audience regarding your experience serving your country?
I say bigger takeaways is always believe in yourself. Even when others tell you cannot do something, you got that inner self in you that you know that you can do anything. You have to develop that you set your mind to. Um, if you don't know an answer or something, and somebody give you a question or whatever, ask why. If you don't know why, you can't determine why you're doing these things. Tell you what, we're down to the last minute of the show. Michelle, this turned out to be absolutely fantastic. Want to thank you for stepping up and interviewing me. I want to thank Todd. Todd, you are the greatest, my friend. You are the greatest. KCBQ AM 1170 answer, FM 96.1. I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. We'll see you then.